Hi YouTube, it's Naya, and I wanted to come and do a show and tell video for you guys and show you guys the new Stila Eyes Are the Windows eyeshadow palettes. Now, there are 4 of the palettes, and I have all 4 to show you guys. These will retail for $49. You can find these in your ULTAs, SEPHORAs, and probably on Stila's website also. Now, a little backstory on these. I started out with 2 palettes. I went into a Sephora and I was hoping to play with them, but Sephora did not have them out on the floor. I actually had to ask the sales rep, and they went in the back and they pulled out 3 palettes because the girl couldn't find the 4th one. But she didn't bring out a tester or anything. So the first 2 that I picked up were called Mind and Body. So I was like, alright, I have these 2. I picked those 2 because those really kind of appealed to me more at the time. And then later on in the week, I happened to go into into ULTA, because ULTA was having their sale. It began on Sunday. And so when I went into ULTA, they had all of them. They had testers, and I was able to play with them. And then, of course, you guys know the makeup junkie in me picked up the other 2. So the other 2 are called Soul and Spirit. So I'm going to quickly tell you as much as information about these that I can. Like I said, this is just pretty much a show and tell video. Inside of this package, in the palette, you get a total of 0.5 ounces or 14.5 grams of product. So you get a decent amount of product. Here is the packaging. Really nice packaging. I think the packaging alone will get most people. Inside of the palettes, they come in 4 different color tones. So you have a copper palette, you have a rose gold, you have a gold, and then the other one I'm a little torn on whether it's rose gold or copper because it pretty much looks the same as the other. But here is this gorgeous packaging that I'm telling you guys about. And as you can see, it's mirrored, but I will say up front, it is very fingerprint prone, so you probably will find yourself wiping this down constantly to try and keep it as pristine as possible. But other than that, it is truly amazing. The names of the shadows are written on the back of the palette, so if you want to refer to them when doing tutorials or things like that, you do have the names. They did not place the names on the little inserts that come inside. On the inserts are different quotes. And this quote in the body palette is, the true work of art is but a shadow of perfection. And that is by Michelangelo. So when you look inside, you get a pretty big mirror. And then you have all of these amazing shades here. So in this particular palette, you have roughly 2 mattes. You have 2 or 3 shadows that look like a satin matte. And then you have some shimmers. So I am going to give you some quick little finger swatches of some shades in here. And so there are 4 of the eyeshadows that are in this palette. And there they are, swatched out on my hand. Now I will say that the purple, this row of purples from the light lavender all the way to this deep plummy purple, I feel like they are a little dry. They're not as pigmented, but after you kind of pack them on and you use the right kind of base, I think you'll be able to create some awesome looks with this palette. So once again, this is a body. Alright, the next one that I'm going to show you guys is called Mind. And Mind is the gold packaging. Same deal. You get the names on the back of the palette. And then also inside of each of the eyeshadow palettes, you get a lookbook that looks like this. And basically, these come in really handy, especially for the beginner or the person trying to figure out, you know, what type of eye look. Well, this will give you some different ideas on different eye looks you can create with the particular palettes. And you can mix and match them as you're creating. So, inside of the Mind palette, the quote on here reads as, let's see, what does this one say? This one says, the true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. And that's Albert Einstein. And this one was like the very first one I wanted, because this one looks predominantly, a matter of fact, I think it is all matte. So there are the shades in the Mind palette. And let me give you some swatches of some of these shades here. Now, I did watch Tara Babe's review on these, and I will agree with her that some of the shadows are more pigmented than others. Some have a drier feel to them, so you probably will find yourself, you know, maybe packing on a little more. But at the end of the process, you will have a truly well blended eyeshadow look, and the colors are amazing. So let's pick out some here. Of course, I have to try this really rustic orange. So this is like a perfect palette for new looks. So there is this kind of cranberry color and this burnt orange, and then there's a really soft brown, kind of like MAC's soft brown. It looks exactly like it. And I'm gonna put that there. So there is that soft brown, kind of a reddy brown. This is kind of like a deepened burgundy, and then that really nice burnt orange shade right there. So I am definitely looking forward to using the Mind palette. If you are a neutral girl, then definitely this one will be the one that you will gravitate to the most. So that is Mind. This next one is called Spirit, and Spirit looks like this. Kind of reminds me of the very first one. That's why I said I don't know if this is considered the rose gold one or the copper one. And they have the gold S's in the middle. And inside of the Spirit palette, the quote that is on here says that where the spirit does not work with the hand, there is no art. And this is by Leonardo da Vinci. And inside of the Spirit palette, you get these amazing shades here. And the one that I was like really wanting to play with was this shade right down here. And inside of this palette, you have roughly 2 mattes. You have a bunch of satiny shades, and I think mostly all the rest of them are satins, and maybe like a satin matte. So that is a great mixture of textures in there. Oh, I like. So there are 4 of the shades inside of the Spirit palette. And I don't find the shades to be chalky or anything like that, so should be okay. And there they are swatched out on my hand. Really, really pretty. Especially, I like this one and this one. So that is the Spirit palette. And the very, very last palette is called Soul. And Soul looks like this. It's kind of gold packaging. And inside of the Soul palette, the quote says, "Since love grows within you, so beauty grows. For love is the beauty of the soul." And this is by St. Augustine. And here is Soul. And inside of the Soul palette, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 mattes. You have roughly 1 shimmer, and the others are kind of like satiny shades. So also another great mixture. And like I said, you can mix and match these to create that perfect look. So let's give some swatches and see how well this palette swatches. So there are 5 of the shadows there. And this black looks like it has some little fine shimmers in it. So I don't think it's like a total out and out matte. And there they are swatched on my hand. So if you're interested in the Stila palettes, definitely check out your Sephora and your ULTAs. Like I said, they retail for $49. So that's a nice little chunk of change to spend. But I think that you will definitely be pleased. So if any one of you out there have already tried them, leave me a comment down below. Let me know your opinion, your thoughts on them. And I hope you guys have a great evening. If you have any questions, you know what to do. Love you guys. Bye.